National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the national news broadcast of Rupavahini on ChannelEye. I'm Lanjali and joining me is Dishan Veerakon. And these are the top stories which have made headlines for tonight. A positive response from the Indian government for the debt restructuring process of Sri Lanka. Secretary to the Finance Ministry informed the Supreme Court that supplying money for the local government election is a serious challenge for the Treasury. Parliamentarian Mujibur Rahman resigned to contest the Colombo Municipal Council. The President says contribution of the university community is significant for the development process. A maximum retail price for eggs. The UK Prime Minister caught on camera not wearing a seatbelt. Now for those and other stories in detail, but we begin with news just in. A major bus van accident involving a group of school students has been reported from the Nuwara Eliya. Bus toppled down a precipice in the Nanuoya area in Nuwara Eliya. Several deaths reported, media reports said. According to several media reports that at least 7 people have died and 50 injured. The bus had been carrying students from Thurston College, Colombo, who had been on an educational tour. The bus had been returning to Colombo from Nuwara Eliya when it plunged 40 feet down a precipice in the Nanuoya area following a collision with a van. The number of casualties not determined yet, police said in an update.
Accident வந்து dolphin வேன்ல வந்திருக்காங்க ஒரே ஃபேமிலில வந்தவங்க வந்து டிப் அந்த பஸ் வந்து பிரேக் இல்லாம போயிட்டு வேன்ல மோதி வேனா லொரியான்னு கூட தெரியாத அளவுக்கு அடையாளம் போயிடுச்சு 7 பேர் ஸ்பாட்லயே இறந்துட்டாங்க. கன்ஃபார்ம் அங்கே தான் இருக்கு. இந்த வாட்ஸ்அப்பை பாருங்களேன். வாட்ஸ்அப் இது
Now, the Indian government has expressed positive response on Sri Lanka's debt restructuring process.
It has also expressed willingness to provide every possible assistance to Sri Lanka to solve the economic problems faced by the country. The Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar made these remarks when he met President Ranil Wickremesinghe today. The official discussion between the President and the Indian Foreign Minister was held this morning at the Presidential Secretariat. The President's media division said that prior to this discussion, a special private dialogue was held between the two leaders at the President's official residence. Both countries have agreed to launch a joint common program between the two states. Indian Foreign Minister recalled that his country also faced an economic downturn in 1991, and he stated that he is fully aware of the existing situation in Sri Lanka. Following the talks, the two envoys signed several agreements. A bilateral agreement was also signed to increase the ceilings of community development projects conducted with the assistance of the Indian government. Secretary to the Ministry of Finance Mahinda Sirivardhana and Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Gopal Bagle signed the agreement. Another agreement to double the individual limitation of community development projects from the existing 3 million rupees to 300 million rupees limitation to 600 million rupees was also signed. In addition, the Academy for Upcountry Dance, constructed with the assistance of the Indian government in 2017, was also declared open online at this moment. 300 housing units constructed under the Indian aid in the Gaul, Kandy and Noailate districts were also declared open online. Ministers Ali Sabri, Vidura Vikramanayaka, Jeevan Thondaman, President's Head of Staff Sagar Ratnayaka and President's Secretary Sama Nekanayaka were present at this occasion. Meanwhile, a discussion between the Indian Foreign Minister and Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena was held in the Temple Trees. They focused attention on the process of debt restructuring as well. The Prime Minister expressed his gratitude to the Indian government for the assistance granted by India. Foreign Minister Jaishankar expressed his confidence at this discussion that the debt restructuring in Sri Lanka will become successful. They also focused attention on the renewable energy projects launched in Sri Lanka. Minister Susil Premajayantha thanked the Indian government for this support extended to print 90 million textbooks for Sri Lankan students. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that Sri Lanka expects the support of India to develop public transport in the country. The Indian Foreign Minister said that they will consider to launch a project to develop the Kalani Valley Railway line and to manufacture electric buses. State Minister Taraka Balasuriya, Parliamentarian Yadamini Gunawardena, Prime Minister's Secretary Anura Dissanayake and a team of Indian representatives were present at this occasion. The Indian Foreign Minister also met former President Mahinda Rajapaksa at his official residence at Vijayarama Mawatha in Colombo this morning. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar met a group of Tamil party leaders for talks in Colombo today.
Now, President Ranil Wickremesinghe warmly welcomed the Indian External Affairs Minister at the Presidential Secretariat this morning, where the duo engaged in cordial discussions. Dr. S. Jaishankar said that India has a good understanding on the situation Sri Lanka is currently facing and said that the Indian government will provide all possible support to solve the current economic problems faced by Sri Lanka.
We've had a very good discussion that follows up on my meeting with my counterpart and other Sri Lankan ministers yesterday evening. My primary purpose of coming to Colombo at this time is to express India's solidarity with Sri Lanka during these difficult moments. As you all know, last year India extended about $4 billion in terms of credits and rollovers to help Sri Lanka get through an economic crisis. For us, it was an issue of neighborhood first and not leaving a partner to fend for themselves. This year, in a developing situation that was beginning to cause concern, the same sentiment reasserted itself. We felt strongly that Sri Lanka's creditors must take proactive steps to facilitate its recovery. India decided not to wait on others, but to do what we believe is right. We extended financing assurances to the IMF to clear the way for Sri Lanka to move forward. Our expectation is that this will not only strengthen Sri Lanka's position, but ensure that all bilateral creditors are dealt with equally. While doing that, we also know that Sri Lanka's pathway is one of a strong economic recovery propelled by greater investments. Here too, I have a clear message that I will be sharing with the business community. India will encourage greater investments in the Sri Lankan economy, especially in core areas like energy, tourism and infrastructure. We count on the government of Sri Lanka to provide a more business-friendly environment to create a powerful pull factor. I'm confident that the gravity of the situation is realized by policymakers here. Energy security is today one of Sri Lanka's most serious challenges. A search for solutions must necessarily encompass the larger region. Only then will Sri Lanka get the full benefit of scale. This country has enormous renewable energy potential that can become a sustainable source of revenue. It has the capability as well for Trincomalee to emerge as an energy hub. In its support for Sri Lanka, India is prepared to be a reliable partner on such initiatives. We have today agreed in principle on a renewable energy framework that would take this cooperation forward. Tourism is the lifeblood of the Sri Lankan economy. I note that Indian tourists are expressing their positive sentiments for Sri Lanka in a very, very practical manner by coming here. But there are many more steps we can take to make this sustainable. Strengthening connectivity and promoting travel is therefore a very high priority for all of us. Definitely encouraging Indian tourists to make RuPay payments and utilize the UPI would be most helpful in this regard. In a turbulent world, it is essential that India and Sri Lanka steady their trade the use of rupee settlement for trade is obviously in our mutual interest. India has always supported both the political and economic stability of Sri Lanka. The President briefed me on the question of political devolution and his thinking. I shared with him our considered view that the full implementation of the 13th Amendment and early conduct of provincial elections are critical in this regard. Durable efforts towards reconciliation are in the interests of all sections in Sri Lanka. I also spoke of the need to pay special attention to the requirements of the Indian origin Tamil community. I handed over Prime Minister Narendra Modi's invitation to President Ranil Wickremesinghe to visit India at an early date to discuss how our partnership can facilitate Sri Lanka's strong recovery. I once again thank the President for receiving me. I would like to underline that India is a reliable neighbor, a trustworthy partner, one who is prepared to go the extra mile when Sri Lanka feels the need. My presence here today is a statement about Prime Minister Modi's commitment to neighborhood first. We will stand by Sri Lanka in this hour of need and are confident that Sri Lanka will overcome the challenges that it currently faces.
The State Minister Ranjit Siyambala says that the Secretary to the Finance Ministry K.M. Mahinda Siriwardena has informed the Supreme Court that it is a severe challenge for the Treasury to grant money for the local government elections as the country has faced severe setback in state income.
Now, the State Minister made this comment at the press briefing held in the Government Information Department today. The Secretary to the Finance Ministry has informed this matter by presenting an affidavit to the courts in response to a petition filed requesting an order to postpone the local government election. The Secretary to the Ministry of Finance had said the monthly salary to the state officials will be paid in 2 installments as the ministry has faced severe economic setback. The Cabinet of Ministers has taken measures to further reduce the 5% of money allocated to ministries by the budget this year. The State Minister said that the cost for the election would cause a severe economic impact for the national expenditure at this moment. Through his affidavit, the Secretary to the Finance Ministry has pointed out that it is a severe challenge to the Treasury to earn money for the election. State Minister Ranjit Siyambala said that the tax income estimated this year with new levies is only about 3,450 billion rupees. However, our outstanding payment is nearly 10,000 billion rupees. The deficit is 6,662 billion rupees. It is a very difficult situation for us to settle the deficit. Last April, we declared that the country stops paying back loans. Therefore, we have to look into the loan facilities given by the International Monetary Fund. India has already expressed their willingness to restructure our loans. We expect that our main creditor is China, who will also agree with this matter. For all these matters, having political stability and peace in the country is utmost significant.
The parliamentarian Mujibur Rahman says that he will resign from the parliamentary post. Addressing the House today, he said that he will resign as he expects to contest the Colombo Municipal Council during this polls, according to a decision taken by the Working Committee of the Samaga Jana Balawege. Parliamentarian Mujibur Rahman said that he resigned from the parliamentary seat to contest the mayor post of the Colombo Municipal Council. Since 2015, he had appeared for the public so far bravely. He thanked the 87,000 voters who voted him at the last general election.
මේ රටේ ජීවත් වෙන සියලුම ජන කොටස් වෙනුවෙන් ඒ ජනතාවගේ අයිතීන් වෙනුවෙන් ඒ වෙනුවෙන් මම නොබේවා පෙනී ඉඳලා තියෙනවා මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව තුලදී. ඉතින් ඒ වගේම මම කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ
Now, the placing deposits for the local government polls ended at 12 noon today. Until we bring more news on that item, the Gazette notification has been issued declaring a maximum retail price for eggs. Consumer Affairs Authority says accordingly a white egg should be sold at 44 rupees and a brown egg should be sold at 46 rupees. The traders who sell eggs at excessive prices will be strictly dealt with. In some areas, egg is sold over 55 to 60 rupees during the past rec period. Poultry Farmers Association said a price of an egg should be kept at 55 rupees maximum limit. However, the Consumer Affairs Authority has issued the relevant gazette notification decreasing the prices. We have just received further updates from the accident we mentioned at the beginning of news. A major bus van accident involving a group of school students has been reported from Nuwara. Bus toppled down a precipice in the Nanu area in Nuwara. Several deaths reported, media reports said. According to several media reports, that at least 7 people have died and 50 injured. The bus had been carrying students from Thurston College, Colombo, who had been on an educational tour. The bus had been returning to Colombo from Nuwara when it plunged 40 feet down a precipice in the Nanu area following a collision with a van. The number of casualties not determined yet, police said in an update.
Now, the funeral of the veteran film director Dr. Sumitra Piris will be held at 4 p.m. tomorrow at the Independence Square premises with state honours. She was 88 years of age at her demise. Her remains are now lying at number 15/3 Governors Lane, Tibirigasaya, Colombo 5 at present. General public are able to pay homage to her remains until 3:30 p.m. tomorrow. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena also paid last respects to late Sumitra Piris. She is considered as the first female director in Sri Lanka for films. She has directed a number of films including Ganga Addara, Yahalu Yeheli and Gehanu Lamai. She has served as ambassadors to France and Spain and the United Nations. Issuing a condolence message, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that her demise marks the end of an era in the local cinema industry. She is the pioneer in female director in the Sinhala cinema. The funeral ceremony will be aired through national television from 4 p.m. tomorrow.
Now, ambitious transport dock USS Anchorage LPD-23 of the United States Navy arrived at the port of Colombo yesterday to take part in the Cooperation of Load Readiness and Training Exercise 2023 named CARAT 2023. On arrival, Sri Lanka Navy, in compliance with naval traditions, welcomed the 208M Long San Antonio class ambitious transport dock manned by 625 enlisted crew members. Anchorage is scheduled to participate in Cooperation of Float Readiness and Training Marine Exercise with the Sri Lankan Navy and Air Force till the 26th of this month. USS Anchorage LPD-23, a San Antonio class amphibious transport dock, is the second ship of the United States Navy to be named for Anchorage, Alaska. The warship is equipped with several advanced weapons systems and several helicopters. As part of the sea phase of CART 2023, USS Anchorage will conduct various exercise serials with SLNS Gajabahu and SLNS Samudra, Sri Lanka Navy said. USS Anchorage will depart the island on 27 January 2023 on completion of CART 2023. The exercise commenced with an opening ceremony led by Deputy Chief of Staff, Director General Operations of Sri Lankan Navy, Rear Admiral Pradeep Ratnayaka.
Years of diplomatic relations between the United States and the Sri Lankans as we do this 5th CARAT exercise since 2017. I'm very excited. We've been welcomed very warmly by all the Sri Lankans, particularly the Navy, since we arrived yesterday, and really looking forward to working with everyone in the next few weeks. So in Colombo and Port, we will be here. We arrived yesterday, we're here all day today, and we leave again tomorrow for the sea phase of the exercise, and then we will come back for the closing ceremonies. Again, pull in the afternoon. We'll be here for a full day, and then leave the next day for our next event. We'll be here about altogether 10 days.
Exercises like Carrot 2023 are a unique opportunity for our sailors and our Marines from our two countries to come together and work to build our capabilities and work to build our ability to work together, particularly around things like disaster response. And we at the U.S. Embassy are so delighted to welcome Captain Lewis and the Anchorage as part of Carrot 2023. This is the first of what will be a year of wonderful interactions between Sri Lanka and the United States on youth, on education, on business, and on security cooperation. And to have them here in January to kick off this year, to build our ability to work together, to focus on issues like humanitarian response to disaster relief is a great way to start a 2023 in which we celebrate 75 years of diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and the United States.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says the contribution of the university community in the development process is very much significant. He made this comment at a discussion held at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday regarding the formation of a National Youth Forum in line with the 75th Independence Day ceremony. The objective of the National Youth Forum is to obtain contribution of the youth for the leadership of development during the coming 25 years. A program to develop main cities as tourist destinations in the country will also be conducted with the help of university lecturers and students under this move. Accordingly, Jaffna district program will be implemented through the Jaffna and Vaunia universities. The Kalani and Rajarata universities will carry out the tourism plans in connection with the Anuradhapura district. Ruhunu, Sabaragamuwa and the Sir John Gotalawala Defence Universities have jointly placed tourism promotion programs for the Galle district. Colombo, Sri Jayawardhanapura, Moratuwa and the Performing Arts Universities are responsible for drawing plans for the Colombo district.
Now, Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says that policy plans should be prepared for the well-being of the general public and the future generation. We must not take decisions based on personal opinions. He made these views at a discussion held with regard to preparing the National Land Transport Policy. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that there is no interconnection with the various transport modes in the island. Railway transport and highway transport should be interconnected. A fixed national transport policy should be prepared with the help of all stakeholders.
Now, the National Crafts Council has launched a program of art exhibitions and workshops with painters. Now, the aim of this program is to motivate artists for innovative creations. The exhibition started today will be held tomorrow as well. Paintings created by artist Vasanta Sanath are in display at this exhibition. It has been organized at the main hall of the National Crafts Council.
The Institute of IET Sri Lanka says that due to lack of full-time digitalization of production in TV programs, many leading institutes that distribute TV programs in the world face direct impact. Chairman of the Institute, Engineer Dr. Tharaka Mohutti, made these comments at a workshop held in Colombo under the title of Future Evolution of Digital Technology Era.
Lengthy discussions were held at this workshop regarding the researches conducted by many intellectuals in this connection. Chairman of the IET Institute Sri Lanka points out that there is no complete digitalization in the production of TV programs in the country. All TV transmissions are being conducted through analog technology at present. Therefore, the country has been deprived of the benefits obtained by the use of digital technology. It has been stressed that foreign income and expenditure of many institutions have been spent in unnecessary manner. Dr. Tharaka Mohutti points out that this will lead to a threat of losing the market opportunities for the leading TV production institutes. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, W.B. Ganegala, Director General Asanga Jayalath and several others were present at this workshop. Chairman of the IET Institute Sri Lanka, Engineer Dr. Tharaka Mohutti, said that to sustain in this field, we have to be fluent with cutting-edge technology. Programs with our own identity must be produced. We can't develop this field only by showing imported TV programs. Well, that's it for local news. Stay tuned for news overseas.
Mom, you was at a back, சேரும் முதல் நாளிலே முதல் பாடமாக சேமிப்பதை சொல்லிக் கொடுங்கள். சிசோதான கணக்கினை மக்கள் வங்கியுடன் ஆரம்பியுங்கள். அதிக வட்டி, அதிக பரிசுகள், அதிக சலுகைகள்.
Welcome back. On foreign news, the Prime Minister has apologized for the incident, saying it was an error of judgment to take his seatbelt off to film a social media clip.
Not wearing a seatbelt carries a maximum £500 fine. Prime Minister fully accepts this was a mistake and apologizes, his spokesman told reporters. Now, the spokesman added the Prime Minister believes everyone should wear a seatbelt. The BBC understands that the Prime Minister was in Lancashire when the video was filmed during a trip across the north of England. The video to promote the government's latest round of levelling up spending was posted on Rishi Sunak's Instagram account earlier. In the clip, which lasts around a minute, Rishi Sunak can be seen addressing the camera while the car travels along, with police motorbikes briefly appearing in the background. Passengers caught failing to wear a seatbelt when one is available unless covered by a valid exemption can be given an on-the-spot £100 fine. The fine can increase to £500 if the case goes to court. Labour said Prime Minister Sunak's video added to endless painful viewing after he was seen struggling to make a contactless payment with his card last year.
Now, on your sports update, international cricket umpire Kumar Dharmasena says that performance of Sri Lanka cricket team during the last year was at significant level. He made this comment expressing his views to national television.
International cricket umpire Kumar Dharmasena said that he personally believes that the Sri Lankan team performed well in the previous year. Therefore, we must cheer the team for their talents that were shown. It is not fair only to consider the performance in the immediate previous match. We must consider the team's skills shown in the matches played during the whole of past year.
And that's all the news we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at 8:50 p.m. for the very latest on Channel I. I'm the Lanjali, together with Dishan, signing off. Good night.
Good night.